Okay, here is my take. Training hard is much easier than recover hard. It doesn't seem to be obvious because for some of us it's very difficult to start a training or even commit ourselves to do regular, very hard, David Goggins like stay hard style of training. And I respect this guy because he's setting some unbelievable human limits for anyone to catch. And I really admire how he can train so hard, but for the rest of us, like average people, this might be very counterproductive if we start it without any catch-up. So, and that's because the accumulated stress, what we can hardly recover from if we start immediately and without any catch-up. So stress is described by a Hungarian Sheje, who made this thing really understandable. And training is one of the stress factors what we can live with, but not the only one. It can be anything else like job, family, personal issues, anything, noise, and we must think about all of these stresses before we commit ourselves for some very hard training. So my my advice is that if you want to be the hardest person, the hardest training person, you should consider to be the hardest recovery person. And it's not about muscle recovery. Muscle recovery is quite easy. Muscles are just fancy rubber bands, which if they get enough like food, protein, and carbohydrates, and water and minerals, they will be okay. So muscles usually don't take these trainings very hard. They can recover very easily, and it's just using the right amount of and the right type of food and resting periods. What is much harder and affected by many things, it's our nervous system. Basically, we are just a very complicated nervous system put into a soft body, and everything, and really everything in our body is just about serving the nervous system. So when we train, we never should think about training the muscle, but training the nervous system and resting the nervous system. So that's why it's important to use the food window after the training, but it's much more important to sleep well, manage the stress, everyday life stress for training. And I can tell it from experience because in the last decade I was racing in a quadrathlon, which means racing in 4 different disciplines. So even if I do like 15 trainings a week, which is quite a lot, it means that I do morning and evening training daily, and sometimes I do one big training, usually cycling, or at least I did. And training hard was not that difficult. After the first few years, when I built up my endurance, it was not about the muscles, because I could take all of this pressure, but it was about the nervous system. So actually, can I remove stress enough from my life? Imagine that during this decade my son was born at the beginning, so I had a little baby next to me, or even a little boy who was just similar ADHD treatments from nature than me. So it means we have to run a lot, he needs lots of attention. Also, I had a job for the first 5 years, and then I had to quit because that was the stress factor I needed the less. And unfortunately, because of my money behavior change from a spender to a fire person, I could afford to be like some kind of pensioner. So I removed this stress. I couldn't remove the family stress, which was not just my son, but arguments about everything. So what I needed to take is I needed to reduce in some years my training so much because I was so fatigued, but not by the training, but because everything else. So I was thinking, how can I rest my nervous system better? And that was the time when I started to take care about my sleeping or think about my sleeping a lot. It was about 5 to 7 years ago because I had very big issues with sleeping. So I was never a good sleeper. I usually wake up like 30 times a night or waked up, because currently it's much less. And like this 3 a.m. watching the walls kind of feeling was like every day. I couldn't sleep back for lots of time. So I wake up at 3, and that was the end of the night. And I was just lying down and thinking many unnecessary things. So to train hard, I needed to learn recovery hard. First, I was thinking much about food, which was the answer for my rubber bands, my muscles. But for my nervous system, I needed a completely different solution. So it was not just sleep, but try to kind of meditate or doing some yoga nidra, anything which removes this excited feeling, because you will have enough sympathetic stress from training. It's very easy to overtrain, not not just because of the training amount or training intensity what you did, but also because it's a cumulative stress for any other areas of life. So that's why it's very important to remove this agitated feeling from your life because of unnecessary things. So I think about sitting in a traffic jam and being nervous about being late is just completely useless. Also the same, if someone cuts you off in the traffic, which I was very angry and usually cursed a lot, it's just simply not worth it. You cannot do anything about it. You can be aggressive and maybe you can hurt yourself. It's not worth it. The other thing is that if you so it's one thing to remove stress, but also you need to give enough time for your body to adapt. So it's very like motivating to from getting up the couch and then just staying hard method, doing lots of training, and what it will lead to is very clear. It will lead to burnout or injuries or stress, or in the worst case just falling back to coach life, which means that you will be even worse shape because you just destroyed something in your body but you couldn't recover it, so you go back to the with injured state to the coach. So it's like totally bad idea. So what I recommend is that if you want to uh, live more uh, and you want to get more of life, and it's not just about the sport things but also can be a job, can be a family, can be anything, is be a better recovery guy. It's not working harder or training harder, it's training smarter and recover smarter. So number one recovery tool for any human being or any animal in planet is just sleeping better. Have your circadian rhythm realigned with your core needs, because current situation, current life uh, is very much against this rhythm, because we have so many things to disturb our attention and our sleep. So this is the first thing I would start with. The other thing is that if I want to train hard again, because I'm training like maybe 6 times a week, so for me it's like almost counting as non-training, just keeping some of my endurance in the shelf, so if I need it I can go back. So start it small and gradually increase all of the components of a training. So it means that the intensity, you can grow only one thing at a time. So if you doing more intensive trainings, you shouldn't do longer trainings or more training. So like more days. So if you start with 2 half-an-hour low intensity training, you can increase it to 2 45 minutes training, or 145, 130 minutes training. And when you have the length, you can increase the intensity, and you can increase how many days, but step by step, because you will have enough time. And it's not about the muscle can adapt like really quickly, so it takes weeks. Your heart and your all of the cardiovascular system, it can catch up within half a year. But for your nervous system, you need years of training to catch up, to adapt all of the stress. And after a while, like for me, at age 50, training a few hours a week, even doing some intensity runs or doing weightlifting or cycling in the forest, which I really enjoy. And I especially enjoy that nobody's here, because it's just a regular Tuesday, so I'm alone in the forest. And to live this life, you just need to recover better and train smartly. If you need any advice, I can help, because that's the thing I love the most, to help you recover better and live a better life, because that can be fantastic. So I had my lows, and I'm not saying that I reached my highest points, but going going up from a low point and live like a fantastic life, which I can live, it doesn't cost you lots of money. It costs you a lots of attention and consideration to do the best thing for your body and for your mind.